They say blood is thicker than water, but sometimes it's also the most dangerous poison in your life. Before I dive into what my own sister did to me, something so low, so vile, it nearly ruined my entire future, I just want to say this. If you've ever been betrayed by someone close, if you've ever been blindsided by family, don't just listen, subscribe. Follow the story. What you're about to hear is real, raw, and one of the most jaw-dropping revenge stories ever told. Because not all enemies come with warnings. It started with a simple notification on my phone. I was at work, finishing up an early report before our weekly meeting. My eyes were dry, my coffee cold, and then bing! A bank alert popped up. Your mortgage payment of $6,842.29 is scheduled. Due the 15th of every month. I blinked. Mortgage? I don't even own a home. I laughed at first, thinking maybe it was a scam. But then I opened the app. There it was, loan amount, $800,000. Lender, First Trust Financial. Status, active. Under Rachel Holloway. My full legal name. I froze.
What the hell?
I checked again. My social security number. My address. Even my employer information. All accurate. There was no way this could be a mistake. I called the bank instantly. Hi, yes, I'm seeing a mortgage under my name that I didn't authorize. The agent was kind but calm.
Too calm.
Let me verify a few things, Miss Holloway. She pulled up the documents. I could hear her frowning through the phone. It appears the loan was closed 2 months ago. All documents were digitally signed under your name. There are even uploaded W-2s, pay stubs, and utility bills. My mouth dried out. That's not just identity theft. That's intimate access. Someone had access to my files, my life, my home, and that someone was starting to feel very familiar. My sister Rachel had stayed over at my apartment exactly 3 months ago. After nearly a year of no contact, she reached out of nowhere. Let's reconnect. I miss you. She showed up with wine and fake tears. Talked about family and healing. I let her in. Let her stay 2 nights. She used my Wi-Fi, my printer, even borrowed my laptop to send a job application. I didn't know then that while I was sleeping on the couch, she was photographing my documents, my tax return folder, old pay stubs, and even my expired lease from the previous apartment. She had everything she needed. Rachel had always been wild, but I never thought she'd cross me like this. Growing up, she was the pretty one, the popular one, always manipulative, always playing the victim. She once faked a car accident to get out of paying rent. She used my ID once to get into a club, but laughed it off. I thought it was harmless. Turns out that was just training. This was war. I filed a fraud report that same day, called Equifax, TransUnion, locked every account. I reported identity theft to the FTC. The process had started, but so had the damage. That's when I stumbled on her Instagram. There it was. A carousel of new house photos. Kitchen island with gold fixtures. Sunken living room. Walk-in closet with a glass shoe display. The caption? Dreams do come true, hashtag new home, hashtag blessed, hashtag manifested it. I almost threw my phone. She didn't manifest anything. She stole my credit, my life, and turned it into her fantasy. And worst of all, she was throwing a housewarming party this weekend. Now, I could have called the cops, pressed charges, filed a lawsuit.
But no.
That wasn't enough. Rachel lived for performance. She lived for approval, clout, applause. Her entire ego was built on image. So, I decided to destroy it, in front of her audience. I reached out to the fraud department at First Trust Financial. They assigned me a woman named Dana Sterling, a senior bank investigator with a kind of no-nonsense voice that made me instantly trust her. I've handled hundreds of these, she said. But this one's especially brazen. She pulled up the mortgage file. Your sister forged digital signatures using stylus software, uploaded your employment records, created fake pay stubs. She broke federal law, didn't she? I asked. Dana nodded. Wire fraud. Identity theft. Mortgage fraud. She could do prison time. I paused. I don't want her arrested. Not yet. Dana raised an eyebrow. I want her exposed. Publicly. On her terms. I texted Rachel that night. Heard you moved into a new place. Can I come to the housewarming? She replied within seconds, full of fake warmth. OMG, yes. You have to see it. I did it all by myself, smiling face with hard eyes. I smiled at the irony. She thought she was inviting her victim. She was actually inviting her executioner. Saturday arrived. Sunny skies. Perfect party weather. I wore a red dress. Makeup flawless. Smile on point. Dana came with me, dressed like a guest, but holding her tablet in her handbag, recording everything. When we pulled up, Rachel was glowing. Erica, she screamed, hugging me like we were sisters again. Fake nails. Fake eyelashes. Fake life. She took us on a tour. Living room.
Kitchen.
Upstairs lounge. This is my sanctuary, she said, touching the marble counter. I almost laughed. She bought this house using my identity, and now she was preaching about sanctity? Then came the toast. Rachel grabbed a mic. Yes, an actual mic, and stood in her designer heels in front of her glowing guests. Thank you all for coming. This house is proof that when you grind hard and never give up, anything is possible. Applause. Laughter. Glasses clinking. Then my turn. I stepped forward, clinking my glass softly. I'd like to make a toast to. Rachel froze. To my sister Rachel, who worked so hard, she even managed to borrow someone else's identity. Mine.
Gasps.
The room went cold. She stole my documents, my credit, and took out an $800,000 loan in my name to buy this house. And today, she invited me here. So I brought someone too. Dana stepped forward. Ms. Rachel Holloway, I'm from First Trust Bank's Fraud Division. You're currently under investigation for identity theft and mortgage fraud. Rachel dropped her wine glass. Someone screamed. Her boyfriend backed away slowly. Her friends pulled out their phones. I don't understand, she stuttered. I handed her a copy of the fraud report. You will. Rachel's mouth opened, but no words came out. Her face, usually painted with confidence and Botox-level smugness, was now a pale canvas of panic. The living room, once buzzing with laughter and music, had turned into a courtroom. And everyone, guests, friends, even the caterer, were now the jury. Dana stepped closer, cool and calculated, pulling out the evidence from her tote like she was in a Netflix courtroom drama. Here are the forged documents. Digital signatures, fake W-2s, falsified tax records, and this. She tapped on a screen. Is the IP address used to file the loan application? It belongs to you, Rachel Holloway. Same Wi-Fi registered to this home. Same timestamps. Rachel's eyes darted around like a cornered rat. No, this is a setup. Erica, what the hell is this? You're doing this to embarrass me. I didn't even flinch. You embarrassed yourself the moment you betrayed me. A guest whispered to another. She stole her sister's identity? Are you serious? Another one gasped. Didn't she say she worked 2 jobs for this place? Someone else said, Nah, this is next-level fraud. Rachel tried to hold the crowd. Everyone, this is a misunderstanding. Erica is jealous. She's always been jealous. She never wanted me to succeed. Dana interjected. We've been monitoring this case for 2 weeks. The documents were signed under your name, but with your sister's identity. It's felony-level fraud, punishable by up to 30 years. 30 years. You could almost see the number hit her brain. No, I can explain. Erica let me use her laptop. Maybe it auto-filled stuff. Maybe the system. Don't lie. I cut in. You stole my pay stubs. You scanned my ID. You forged my signature. A slow silence filled the air. No one clapped anymore. No one laughed. The music had long stopped. Her perfect housewarming had turned into a public execution. You might think I felt satisfied in that moment. But I didn't. Not yet. Because behind all that glamour and deceit, Rachel still thought she could talk her way out. That's when Dana made the next move. She handed her a subpoena. This is in order to appear before a fraud tribunal next month. You'll be contacted by federal investigators soon. I suggest you get legal counsel. Rachel's mouth quivered. A young man, probably her boyfriend, walked up and whispered, "Is this true? Did you really do this?" She reached for his hand. He backed away and walked out. Another guest followed, then another, and another. Soon, Rachel was standing in the same living room she claimed was her dream come true, now deserted. Her face crumbled. "Erica, please," she whispered. "Can we talk privately?" I shook my head. "No more behind closed doors games, Rachel. You lost that privilege the day you stabbed me in the back with my own name." She lunged toward me suddenly, crying. "I needed help, okay? I was drowning. I thought I could fix it before you found out." Dana stepped between us. "Please maintain distance." Rachel collapsed onto her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. But her tears weren't for me. They were for herself. Her dream life, built on stolen bricks, was crumbling, and she couldn't hold the walls up anymore. I walked out of the house with Dana, the echo of Rachel's sobs fading behind me. Outside, I took a deep breath. The air smelled fresher than it had in days. Not because justice was complete, but because the poison was finally exposed to light. Dana looked at me. "Most people don't think this far ahead. You were strategic." She always used people like pawns. I wanted her to feel what it's like to be checkmated in front of a crowd. Dana nodded. "She'll likely try to call, beg, maybe even threaten. Just forward everything to us. We're handling this now." That night, I got home and opened my laptop. Hundreds of DMs flooded my inbox. People who had been at the party, people who had heard about it. Some praising me, some gossiping. A few siding with Rachel, surprisingly. "You didn't have to go that hard, sis. Blood is blood. Couldn't y'all talk it out?" Nah, she deserved it. That's next-level betrayal. But one message stood out. From an old family friend. "Your mother would be proud of you for standing your ground. Rachel's been getting away with too much for too long." That hit me, because Mom wasn't here anymore. She'd passed 3 years earlier. Cancer. And before she died, her last words to us were, "Stick together, no matter what." I had tried. God knows I did. But sometimes, sticking together becomes a death sentence when the rope tying you is soaked in betrayal. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at the ceiling for hours, remembering Rachel's childhood smiles, her pranks, her teenage lies, how she borrowed my clothes, forged my signature on school notes. I always forgave her. But this wasn't just a prank. She hadn't just stolen money. She tried to steal my life. By morning, the drama had hit local blogs. Lakeview party turns ugly after identity theft bombshell. Woman exposes sister's $800,000 fraud mid-toasts. It went viral. Rachel's name was trending. Her LinkedIn deleted. Her boyfriend, now ex, posted a shady caption. "Be careful who you build castles with. Some people use your blueprint to rob you." Later that day, Rachel texted me. "Rachel, please can we talk? I'm sorry. I was desperate. I never meant to ruin you. Rachel, you're my sister, Erica. I still love you. Rachel, you don't have to press charges." I didn't reply. She didn't love me. She loved what I had. And when I didn't give it willingly, she took it like a thief in the night. She didn't want forgiveness. She wanted a way out. Later that week, Dana called with an update. The fraud unit escalated the case. She's under criminal review now. But here's the kicker, because the mortgage was taken under your name, the house technically isn't hers. I blinked. Wait, what? The house title is under your identity. You never authorized it. Once the fraud case is confirmed, you'll have the right to claim it or sell it. I stood silent. You mean the house she bought with my stolen identity is legally yours, Dana confirmed. I laughed. Not out of joy, but out of sheer, poetic justice. Rachel had planned the ultimate heist. She wanted to live large while I worked overtime. But now, her castle made of lies belonged to the person she tried to erase. I stood in front of the mansion a week later. It was quiet now. No music. No guests. No golden glow from Instagram stories. Just me, my keys, and an eerie silence that made the $800,000 property feel like a tomb. The locks had been changed. Dana personally handled the legal filing that removed Rachel from the premises after the fraud case was confirmed. The house was legally transferred under my identity. Technically, it had always been mine. I should have felt victorious. But instead, I felt like I'd inherited a haunted dream. Inside, everything was untouched. Champagne flutes still lined the bar counter. Her fake vision board sat on a gold easel in the hallway. It read, luxury, freedom, legacy. All words she tried to build on my back. The fridge was still stocked with catered leftovers. A pink post-it on the mirror said, remember to be that girl Sparkles. I almost laughed. Rachel's whole life was aesthetic quotes and cover-ups. But the deeper I walked into the house, the heavier it felt. Because beneath the marble and designer furniture, something didn't feel right. I climbed the stairs to the master bedroom. Drawers were yanked open. Clothes half-packed. Shoes gone. But on the bed sat a manila folder. My name on it. I opened it. Inside were printed screenshots of emails from me, or so it seemed. Messages to loan agents, verification letters, even a doctored employment offer showing a $120,000 annual salary I never earned. But that wasn't the twist. The IP address logged into my work email was not Rachel's. It belonged to someone else. Someone from my company. I drove home shaking. Pulled out my work laptop. Checked the IP logs with help from an old IT intern I mentored months ago. He owed me a favor. When he ran the IP, my heart stopped. It traced back to my coworker, Melvin. Melvin? The same Melvin who always brought me coffee. The one who let me vent when Rachel first started ghosting me years ago. The one who just last week said, family can be so cruel. I'm glad you're standing up for yourself. He helped her. He was her inside man. The next day at work, I played it cool. Melvin was at his desk, laughing at something on his phone. I walked over. Hey, got a second? He nodded. For you? Always. I smiled. Let's chat. Off the record. We walked to the break room. He poured himself tea. So, I started leaning on the counter. How long have you been helping my sister screw me over? He froze. The tea bag slipped from his fingers. What? I handed him the screenshots. IP trace. Email logs. Even the fake employment letter with your initials on the metadata. His mouth opened, then shut. You've been helping Rachel from the beginning, haven't you? How much did she promise you? A cut of the house. Silence. Then, she said you wouldn't get hurt, he muttered. I laughed darkly.
Wow. And you believed that?
He ran a hand through his hair. Look, I needed the money. My mom's in debt and Rachel said she'd help pay it off if I just verified a few things. You committed federal fraud for a couple $1,000s and a pretty face. He looked down. I walked out. But not before telling HR. And Dana. By Friday, Melvin was gone. Walked out by security. His desk emptied by noon. Another lie dismantled.
But the real twist came that night.
A knock on my door. I opened it. Rachel. Hoodie. Sunglasses. Puffy eyes. But still standing tall, like she didn't just commit crimes and lose everything. What the hell are you doing here? She stepped in without asking. I need to talk. You need a lawyer. She pulled off her glasses. You don't understand. I didn't just do this to hurt you. I did it because someone told me to. I squinted. What? There's more to this than just me being greedy. Yes, I forged your identity. But someone coached me. Someone gave me the idea. The files. Even told me which lender to use. She reached into her hoodie and pulled out a flash drive. Everything's on here. I took it cautiously. Rachel sighed. I know you hate me. You should. But I swear, I didn't mastermind this alone. I was used to. For what? To ruin you. I plugged in the drive that night. There were voice memos, recordings, and screenshots. And right in the middle of it all was a name I never expected to see. Nina Covington. My former best friend. The one who used to work in banking compliance. The one who got fired 3 years ago after being caught leaking client data. The one I had recommended for that job. Nina had supplied Rachel with my information. I sat in my kitchen shaking. Twist after twist. Layer after layer of betrayal. Rachel was the face of the fraud. Melvin was the inside man. Nina was the architect. It was all connected. Nina had always envied me.
My job.
My degree. My stable life. When she got fired, I thought it was her fault. Turns out she blamed me. So she handed my life to the one person who hated me enough to burn it down, my own sister. I stared at the wall for hours. You'd think when justice is served, you feel peace. But when justice unearths more betrayal, you feel like you're stuck in quicksand. The next morning, Dana called. Rachel turned herself in for full cooperation. We now have 3 active investigations. Rachel, Melvin, and your ex-friend Nina. I rubbed my temples. Can I just sell the damn house and move to another continent? She chuckled softly. You could. But don't forget, she added, you outplayed 3 con artists without even leaving your desk. That makes you powerful. I didn't feel powerful. I felt broken. Exhausted.
Used.
But I also felt something else. Ready. Because this wasn't just a revenge story anymore. It was war. 3 weeks later, I sat in a conference room with Dana, 2 federal agents, and a legal advisor. Across the table, tucked into opposite corners, sat Rachel, Melvin, and Nina. Nina hadn't aged a day since I last saw her. Still glamorous, still smug.
But now?
She looked like a rich ghost clinging to relevance. Rachel, however, looked nothing like herself. No lashes. No makeup. No acrylics. Just sweatpants and defeat. Melvin wouldn't meet my eyes. Coward. Agent Wallace opened a folder. Before we proceed with sentencing recommendations, we'd like to allow the victim, Ms. Erica Holloway, a chance to speak. I looked up. They were calling me the victim. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like cleanup after a war. Still, I cleared my throat. I never asked to be anyone's stepping stone. But each of you made me one. My voice shook, but I kept going. Rachel, you didn't just steal money. You stole my peace, my credit, my ability to sleep. You took my name and tried to wear it like a trophy. She sniffled, but said nothing. Melvin, I trusted you. I share my lunch with you. My tears. Your friend. You sold me out for a debt and a woman who couldn't spell loyalty. Melvin winced. And Nina, you used to be family to me. Not by blood, but by bond. I gave you a chance when no one else would. I vouched for you. And you handed my life to a stranger because you couldn't handle failure. Nina finally broke her silence. You think you're innocent? You paraded your perfect life in front of me like some shiny prize I couldn't touch. No, I said calmly. I lived my life. You chose not to live yours. That's the difference. Agent Wallace nodded. Thank you, Miss Holloway. He turned to the others. We have evidence linking each of you to various levels of fraud and conspiracy. Given Rachel's cooperation, we're recommending probation with mandatory restitution. Melvin will face criminal charges, with potential plea bargaining depending on restitution. Nina, you're the ringleader. Nina rolled her eyes. We're recommending full prosecution. Silence. Then, Rachel raised her hand. I want to say something. Everyone tensed. She looked directly at me. I know I destroyed our relationship. I don't expect forgiveness. But I'm going to pay you back. Every dollar. Even if it takes me 20 years. I stared. She wasn't lying. For the first time, she looked like someone trying to rebuild, not perform. Later that day, I met Dana at a cafe near my apartment. You handled yourself well, she said, sipping coffee. Most people break in those rooms. I almost did, I admitted. But something kept me steady. What's that? I smiled, knowing that none of them could lie their way out this time. Meanwhile, online, the drama hadn't died down. TikToks were popping up. Threads. Anonymous blogs detailing the $800,000 sister scandal. Someone even made a meme. Rachel Holloway, CEO of borrowing personalities, credit scores, and real estate. I should have been humiliated. But honestly, I laughed. Let the internet do its thing. I had bigger issues, like what to do with a house I never wanted. After a lot of thought, I listed it. $975,000. The market was hot. I had no sentimental attachment, just trauma. Within 3 days, a buyer offered full price.
Cash.
I signed the contract, wired the funds, and sat back. Just like that, the house that nearly ruined me became the house that secured my future. 1 month later, I got a letter from Rachel. Handwritten. Erica, I know you'll never believe anything I say again, but I mean it when I say I'm sorry. I've started community service. I've also enrolled in a financial ethics class as part of my probation. I found a cheap apartment on the edge of a city. Humbling, but I need humbling. I know we'll never be sisters again. But I hope you sleep better knowing I'm finally facing consequences. Rachel. I folded the letter slowly, then lit a candle and burned it. Forgiveness? Maybe. But reconciliation? Never again. Then came a second twist. Dana called. We received notice that Nina is filing a civil countersuit. What? She's claiming emotional distress due to public exposure. Says you're responsible for ruining her reputation. I laughed bitterly. She tried to ruin my life. Now she wants compensation for embarrassment. She won't win, Dana assured. We have the digital chain, the IP logs, the recordings. But just a heads up, you might want legal representation. So I lawyered up. Enter Grace Daniels, a fire-breathing civil litigator with blood-red nails and zero tolerance for stupidity. Nina's desperate, Grace said. She's using this as a smokescreen to distract from the criminal charges. Then burn the smoke, I replied. At the hearing, Grace tore Nina apart. You leaked personal records, encouraged identity theft, and then had the audacity to claim emotional pain? Nina's lawyer objected. Grace snapped, withdrawn. But the facts remain. This is not about pain. It's about accountability. We won. Again. The judge not only dismissed Nina's claim, but fined her for filing a frivolous suit. That night, I stood on my new apartment balcony. Downtown skyline glowing. A warm breeze sweeping past. No mansion. No revenge parties. Just peace. But that peace came with one final revelation. As I scrolled through my bank app, something caught my eye. A deposit. $15,000. Memo. Partial repayment, RH. Rachel. True to her word, she was paying me back. One piece at a time. I didn't reply. But I didn't block her either. Some chapters end not with forgiveness, not with rage, but with understanding that closure doesn't need conversation. It just needs a locked door, and you on the right side of it. 6 months had passed. The headlines had faded. The gossip blogs moved on. Even the hashtags stopped trending. But I didn't care. I wasn't following the noise anymore. Because for the first time in years, I was following myself. After selling the house, I paid off all the debt Rachel dumped onto my identity. I even paid for a full credit repair process through a trusted lawyer. My score, once bruised and broken, was climbing again. I moved into a condo downtown. Simple. Secure. Mine. And with the remaining money from the sale, I did something Rachel would have never done. I invested in peace. Therapy. Travel. A full sabbatical from work. I needed time to unlearn the trauma of being used, over and over, by people I thought I could trust. I also started journaling. It began as a personal outlet, but it became something more. An idea.
A blog.
Then a podcast. Then full-on webinars. Reclaiming You. How to Rebuild After Betrayal. Thousands of women tuned in. Some had gone through identity theft. Others were victims of financial abuse, toxic family setups, manipulative siblings. Turns out there were so many of us. And somehow, telling my story helped them tell theirs. But while I was rebuilding, Rachel was unraveling. Dana sent me updates occasionally. Rachel was complying with probation, doing weekly community service. She even paid another $10,000 toward restitution. But she couldn't hide from the internet. Her name had become synonymous with fraud. She couldn't hold a steady job, couldn't rent under her real name. Even dating apps rejected her after reports. She emailed me once. "I'm not asking for sympathy. I just wish I could restart. Anywhere. I'm not sure who I am without pretending anymore." I didn't reply. Because the truth is, she didn't want to be real. She wanted a new mask. But the next twist hit me by surprise. One morning, as I was prepping for a virtual panel on cyber fraud, I received a call. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. When I played it back, chills ran down my spine. "Hi, Erica. I don't know if you'll even listen to this, but it's Rachel. Something's happened. I don't know who else to call. Please, I really need help." My instinct said ignore it, but my heart said check it out. I called Dana. She agreed to look into it. A few hours later, she called back. "You're not going to believe this," she said. "Try me." Rachel was scammed. I'm sorry, what? She got caught in a romance fraud. Catfished. She sent someone over $60,000 across 4 months. I laughed out loud. "You're joking." She thought he was a German investor. Said he'd help her move to Europe, clean her name. Turns out he was based in Nigeria. Part of a ring we've been watching. My jaw dropped. She fell for a con artist? Yep. Of all people? Poetic, isn't it? I sat with the irony. Rachel, the liar, the manipulator, got a taste of her own tactics. Worse, she actually fell for it. A week later, she emailed again. Subject: I deserve this. I know you're laughing. Maybe you should. I deserve it. He told me everything I ever wanted to hear. He painted a new life. Said I could be someone else. And I believed him. Because I didn't want to be Rachel Holloway anymore. I wanted to be someone whose name didn't mean shame. I'm down to $200 in my account. I'm not asking for money. I'm just asking for a response. Even if it's just to curse me out. I closed the email. Typed, "You need to heal. But I'm not your rehab." Then deleted it without sending. Instead, I took a walk. Past the coffee shop where Melvin used to smile at me with lies in his teeth. Past the hotel where Nina once bragged about her big break. Past the courthouse where Rachel wept in fake repentance. And as I walked, I realized something. They didn't just betray me. They freed me. Without their sabotage, I'd still be playing safe. Saying yes when I meant no. Saving people who didn't want to be saved.
But now?
I had boundaries. I had clarity. I had power. And fate had one last surprise. At a speaking engagement months later, a man approached me afterward. Clean cut, quiet confidence. Asked smart questions. Listened without interruption. We talked for 20 minutes. Then 2 hours. Then dinner. His name was Marcus. He ran a nonprofit that helped people recover from white-collar scams. We didn't trauma bond. We power bonded. He didn't ask to fix me. He respected that I fix myself. And when I told him about Rachel, he didn't judge.
He said,
"Sometimes the worst people in your life show you the best version of yourself by being the exact opposite." Now, I won't say it ended in some fairy tale. Rachel still owed me over $60,000. Nina was serving time. Melvin moved states and changed his name. But me? I built something from the ashes. And while I'll never forget what they did, I don't need revenge anymore. Because I got something better. Freedom. It had been almost a year. One long, winding, scorched earth journey from victim to survivor to something stronger. I wasn't Erica the sister anymore. Or Erica the target. Now I was Erica Holloway, licensed fraud speaker, published author, and proud owner of the very life they tried to steal. The podcast was now one of the top-rated crime recovery shows on Apple. My digital courses on financial safety were getting rave reviews. Marcus and I were steady, no rush, no illusions. Just real. I finally felt untouchable. Until the day I got a letter. No envelope. Just folded paper. Slid under my condo door while I was out speaking at an event. "Erica, please read this to the end. I don't have much time. I did something again. And I know you're going to hate me for it. But I swear, this time, I didn't mean for it to hurt you. I borrowed your name again, but only for one transaction. Don't panic. It wasn't money. It was opportunity. I applied to a rehab scholarship program, under your name. I didn't think I'd get in, but they accepted you. They thought you were a survivor who wanted to mentor me.
So I lied.
And now I'm living at a wellness retreat in Colorado, pretending to be you. But they've started to notice things. They might contact you. They might ask why your voice sounds different.
I'm sorry.
Don't send anyone. Just let me finish the 60-day program. Then I'll disappear. Forever. Rachel. I stood there in my hallway, letter in hand, stunned. She did it again. Different setup. Same addiction. Being me. Marcus found me pacing when he got back. I handed him the note. He read it silently. His face tensed. Then, carefully. What do you want to do? I shook my head. She's already destroyed her own name. Now she's infecting mine again. You could report it. I should report it. But will you? That night, I wrestled with the decision. Rachel wasn't stealing money this time. She was stealing healing. Under my name. Using my pain to process hers. I reached out to Dana. She sighed when I told her. She's spiraling. I've seen this before. She doesn't want a new life. She wants your life. And if I let it slide, she'll keep going. You already gave her an inch with silence. She's now taking miles. I sat on it for days. Then, I got a call. Unknown number. I let it ring. Voicemail. Hi, this is Melissa from Aspen Wellness Center. Just checking on Erica Holloway. Your recent application listed this as a backup contact. Please call us back to confirm a few verification details. My jaw clenched. This wasn't just paperwork. She'd gone full impersonation again. I packed a bag, booked a flight to Colorado. Marcus protested, but I told him, I need to see it with my own eyes. I need to end this with my own hands. Aspen Wellness Center was beautiful. Mountains. Silence. Air so clean it made me suspicious. I walked into the main lodge and asked for Rachel Holloway. The receptionist blinked. You mean Erica? I took a deep breath. That's me. She looked confused. No, she's already checked in under that name. Exactly. Her eyes widened. Security escorted me to the guest house. There she was. Braids.
Sweats.
Sun-kissed skin. Sitting in a beanbag chair.
Journaling.
She looked up. The moment our eyes met, her face fell. Erica. I didn't speak. I just handed her a mirror I'd grabbed from the hallway wall. Look into it, I said. Look at yourself. Do you even know who that is anymore? She broke. Fell to her knees. I needed peace. They told me it was a holistic program. No ID checks, just references. I gave yours. I needed your story, so they believe I wanted help. I shook my head. You didn't want help. You wanted access. Again. I'm broken, Erica. So fix yourself. But not with me.
She sobbed.
Please let me finish the program. It's the first time I've been clean. First time I've stopped lying. I swear. I paused. You want to be me so bad? Then deal with what comes with it. I pulled out my phone and called Melissa. This woman checked in under my name. I'm pressing charges. Rachel screamed. And oh, please no, Erica, don't do this. I turned away. Melissa gasped. You're the real Erica? I nodded. And I'm done being the victim. Rachel was escorted out of the center that evening. I didn't watch. I left Colorado before sunset. And I never looked back. A month later, a judge ruled she had violated probation. Her sentence was reinstated. 18 months of state time. No more community service. No more housewarming parties. No more fake scholarship retreats. Marcus and I celebrated quietly. Not because she went to jail, but because I finally cut the cord. The version of me who kept hoping Rachel would change, she was buried. And in her place was someone fierce. Someone whole. I didn't visit her in prison. Not out of cruelty. Out of clarity. There was nothing left to say, no healing words, no second-hand mercy I owed her. I had already paid the price, For her lies, her theft, her chaos. Now she could pay her own. For a while, I avoided the news. But one morning, Marcus nudged my phone toward me as we sat on the balcony sipping coffee. "Don't worry," he said. "It's not gossip. It's growth." I looked.
Headline.
Fraud survivor Erica Holloway launches national program to protect women from identity theft. That's right. National. What began as a blog, then a podcast, then a course, had evolved into a federally backed program. I was now the founder of Reclaim, a platform offering legal resources, emergency funds, and trauma-informed therapy for women impacted by financial betrayal. In partnership with 2 law firms, 3 nonprofits, and ironically, a major bank. The same one Rachel conned through. I used my pain as a curriculum. Every betrayal became a chapter. Every trauma became a module. Every scar, something I once tried to hide, was now a badge of experience that drew others in. People weren't just hearing my story. They were empowered by it. But one letter still haunted me. It came just before Rachel's 1-year mark in prison. A small envelope, handwritten. No return address. Still, I knew who it was from. "Erica, I don't expect you to respond.
Or care.
But I wanted to know something. I joined a mentorship circle here. At first, it was a joke. Another program to pass the time. But something changed. I was paired with a woman named Tanya. She's serving 22 years. But she told me something that shattered me. You think you're a villain with bad luck. But you're just a coward with a mirror you keep refusing to look into. That hit me like a punch. For the first time, I looked. Really looked. I saw a girl who envied everyone. Who wanted applause without the performance. I wanted your life. Because I didn't believe I could ever build my own. And I still don't know if I can. But for what it's worth, I'm trying now. Not to be Erica. To be Rachel. Just Rachel.
Goodbye.
RH. I stared at the letter for a long time. There were no more tears left to cry. I didn't feel pity. Or rage. Just stillness. A calm that only comes after fire. That weekend, Marcus and I took a trip to the coast. No phones. No work. Just us. Wind. Water.
Peace.
He asked me something over dinner. "Do you ever miss who you were before all this?" I thought for a second. "No," I said honestly. Because she let too many people treat her like an extra in her own story. He smiled. "And now?" "Now," I said, raising my glass, "I'm the author. And I don't hand out pens anymore." Months passed. Rachel was released under strict supervision. No contact order remained. She moved 2 towns away, took a job at a thrift store, and vanished from public life. Somehow, that felt like justice. Not her being caged, but her being invisible to the world she once tried to fake. Then came one final twist. At a speaking event in Atlanta, a woman approached me after the panel. Mid-50s, modest suit, eyes full of ache. She reached for my hand. "Thank you," she whispered. "You helped my daughter leave a man who had her taking out loans she didn't understand." She pulled out a wrinkled note. She wanted to thank you herself. She's not strong enough to speak yet. I unfolded it. It read, "Dear Erica, before I heard your podcast, I thought I was stupid. I thought I deserved the debt and the shame. But then I heard you say, being betrayed doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. And real women rebuild. I'm rebuilding now. Thank you for showing me how. Clara." My eyes blurred, not because of the pain, but because my story, had finally come full circle. Rachel tried to destroy me, tried to erase me, but instead, she revealed me. She forced me to become more than a name on a loan. She forced me to become a name worth remembering. So, here's my message to anyone listening now. Don't let betrayal define you. Let it refine you. Let it sharpen you. Let it teach you. Let it harden your boundaries and soften your heart, only for those who earn it. And if you're ever standing in a room full of people watching your world collapse because someone stole your name, smile. Because one day soon, you'll reclaim it louder than they ever stole it. Thanks for watching. We like to know the location you're watching from. Also, don't forget to subscribe.